everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Cleaning and Cocktails podcast. This is where I get the opportunity to speak with fellow cleaning business owners, small, medium, and large. We take the time to let them share their stories on the ups and downs in the industry. I also speak with other experts and professionals in the industry, from your manufacturers, your suppliers, trainers, as well as other types of entrepreneurs. My mission is to empower our cleaning industry to inspire and motivate each and every one of you. I want you guys to reach new heights of success and learn from one another. My goal is to have you walk away with some tips, secrets, advice, and opinions that are relevant to all of us in our day-to-day hustle and grind while we're out there in the field working every single day. So sit back and share a cocktail with us and enjoy the show. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. Again, you know it. I'm here with my cocktail. I'm happy to have my guest here, Jason, a good friend of mine. We'll get into Jason real quick, but you guys, you got to know what the show's about, right? Again, it's here to share stories of the cleaning industry, share stories like I'm about to with Jason here. Whether you're a small business, medium-sized, large, let's hear from the manufacturers, suppliers, technology software founders, trainers, everybody cleaning related. I just want to share their vision, share their stories, the ups, the downs, to shed light on this industry that has changed my life. I know it's changed Jason's life. It changes a lot of our lives. And every day, you get so deep into the business, it's always good to just get a refresh and see other things that are happening and get outside your bubble. And that's what we're here for. We're here to give people a resource and a channel to listen to others that are walking in their shoes, living the ups and downs that they're living. So again, without further ado, I got my man, Jason here, who I've grown to learn and get to know over the past year. Jason's from Austin, Texas. He's got a great cleaning company called NAE Solutions. And that's all I'll say about it because Jason, let's hear from your mouth. Give us the rundown on how you stumbled into this glamorous industry.
Okay, so first of all, thanks for having me, Ricky. I've been looking
cheers.
For this. Yeah, cheers. Have a little Irish coffee here.
I'm getting better at that. I gotta get the the beginning.
Cool. So anyway, I've been in this business for about 7 years. Now we've been in business since 2013. At the time when I started this company, I was actually working full time at a day job. I had been approached by management for kind of some upward mobility opportunities. And at that point, I just kind of realized that I wanted to do something for myself. And I started to just create a list of different companies that had certain check marks. I remember it's been a minute. So I know that low capital to start, recurring revenue was one of them. Intentionally not like super glamorous, i.e. competitive necessarily. So obviously, janitorial kind of checks all those boxes. There were some other ones and I couldn't even tell you what the other opportunities were, but I stuck with that, started researching it, spending time, my free time, just kind of getting to understand how to start and just kind of jumped in, got a first couple of clients through some tech platform called StumpTech actually. But I was cleaning with myself and a friend of mine's niece. And we got a couple more employees over time. We started to continue to, create relationships with new clients and kind of foster, get them in the pipeline and have those conversations. And sure enough, time went on and we started to get bigger clients and more clients. And we started to grow our staff and we've been able to continue that growth pretty consistently for the last few years. I would say definitely the last 2 years, we've seen a lot more growth just from different strategies we've implemented in marketing and advertising. And that's been a huge help for us. So it's been a great ride, a lot of ups and downs, especially with the COVID situation. We lost close to 50% of our normal business at the beginning of all this. And we made a quick pivot into disinfection service. I educated myself as much as possible. Your videos helped actually. That was a great resource for us to kind of latch onto and utilize. And we had 2 of our best months in the company's history during the middle of the pandemic. So we've been very grateful. I haven't had to let anybody go. So just been really good to us.
Nice, man. Well, hey, you're a hustler, man. I mean, the first time I talked to you, I knew that. I wanted to share your story too. And guys too, I forgot to mention, I've had so many, not that Jason is an expert himself, but other subject matter experts of the industry itself. But I wanted to get back to the foundation of the podcast, which is to share the stories of the everyday small business cleaning company owners like Jason, like myself, like, hundreds and thousands of you guys out there. But in Jason's case, when I first met him and first talked to him, I think it was March or April. But if you remember, Jason, even in that conversation, I was like, wait. You're what size? And you're already using 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 different technology solutions. Yeah. That's the point here, guys, is it, at first, and I told you, Jason, full transparency. I was like, Route, the software I have, and this is why I like the feedback you gave us, is I'm like, it's going to serve better for people that are established and, have a larger, medium-sized company. But when I talk to people like you shed light on it. Really, that doesn't matter, right? If you're a small business and you want to grow, and you're a small business owner and you have the firepower and the bandwidth to turn that sale into a contract, get that contract sold, staff your team, communicate with your team, and just keep it going over and over again. Mm-hmm. You found out, right? And I share this, and this is the biggest part of this episode that I want, is to hear your day-to-day, because you're doing a lot. Your business is growing, and you're using multiple solutions that the everyday small business owner in cleaning would rebuttal that and say, I'm too small. I don't need to use that much technology. When you would probably argue you need to use as much as any other guy that you're competing against, because the future is digital, right? So dig deep into, why, when was the first time you picked up a software solution, then the next one, and at what stages of your business were you, if you could?
Sure. Yeah.
I know that's a lot.
No, not at all. I'll just kind of slowly go through it. The first software solution that we used was for operations. It was Swept. And I know you're familiar. I saw you guys, you guys had them on the show the other day. So that was kind of the first one. And that was kind of the initiation of like my exploration into all the different, possibilities out there. One of the things that I really liked about the janitorial business was that it was very underserved from that perspective. A lot of old school ways of doing things, notepads in a drawer to to have extra things done or make a comment. It just didn't work. And it still doesn't. I mean, it's amazing. Our top competitors are very unorganized from what I've seen or what I've heard from people that we're bidding on. People that are out in the field, working sales, saying things like, the cleaners haven't shown up in a few days, and it's kind of like as long as it's not more than like 4 or 5, like it's insane, man. So none of that tracking was in place with a lot of these companies. I think that's huge. So kind of transitioning, I guess to talk about Swept. So the big thing for Swept, and I know you feel the same way about this, is the communication aspect of it. It allows you to either communicate with clients directly if they're interested in that, or to communicate with your staff, have your managers communicate with staff, and have even staff that work the same property, maybe at different days. Hey, by the way, this is here, or whatever. It doesn't. There's a myriad of ways that helps us. And then on top of that, you've got the cleaning list right there in the app. I mean, there's not like a clipboard or whatever. It's just all digital. We literally had checkoff lists at each location.
I did too. I think everybody knows the checklist.
Yeah. No, dude, and you need to have that. You need to have something, right? Yeah. So 100%. So we had those. Quickly, it was like, this isn't going to work. This is too much. Like, we got to make sure we have enough sheets. Like, it's just a jumbled mess. So Swept was huge in that respect. We did away with those. The other thing I love about Swept is and this is the last thing I'll touch on with them, and then we'll move on, but the inspections. So I was actually just on the phone with one of our managers earlier. He was having some issues with the app, but basically the way those things work is that they're great because you can take pictures, you can make comments, and it's all laid out, all the little different areas. So it's very straightforward. You can put anybody in that position and say, hey, this is how this works. I need you to, do these routine inspections, and they get emailed automatically to myself and then to like a kind of an admin email that we have set up. And it's a great way for them to follow up with the team and say, here, I'm going to pull this up. We're going to go over it together. Right. So Typically we'll have them go out 1 week, do all the inspections. And then the next week they'll come through and actually meet with the team and say, hey, these are the things that like need to get addressed. And that really, really brings, your quality of service to another level. I mean, we got a glowing email this morning to a brand new client we've had probably about 4 or 5 months now. And they were just thrilled. And that there were a couple of times, I remember we had to touch base with them on some things they missed in an inspection, and we got ahead of it before the client noticed it, right?
That's the point.
So
ahead of it, so they know that, really you got your shit together. Like, you're not waiting for them to complain.
Right. It's not reactive, it's proactive, right?
Yep.
And so that's kind of the main use for Swept. And then we quickly realized that we wanted more out of our time clock management, because we were using the scheduling and the check-in, check-out on Swept, but we wanted something a little bit better. And at the time we were using a software called Gusto for our payroll, that actually integrates with this new time clock that we found called T-Sheets. So basically you click a button every payroll or whoever like is managing that, and it gets shot over to the Gusto payroll, and it fills out all their payrolls, and it just runs it. Like, it's amazing. Okay. So that's huge, because it has the T-Sheets is great because it's easy to use for the team. A lot of these people aren't tech savvy, and I understand that. I mean, it took me quite a while to like figure these out. I just knew I needed a solution, and then I'd try to find an answer and learn how to work it, right? So the T-Sheets is great for the GPS tracking. It allows us to see very easily from like a 30,000 foot view or whatever, where everybody is. If something happens, who's closest to go help out, something along those lines. And it's just very, very clear, and the scheduling super easy to understand. So that was helpful for that perspective.
So Jason, actually a question on T-Sheets, actually, because this is just something maybe I want to ask too. So you said it's integratable with Gusto. Mm-hmm. Does it integrate with others as well? Because if it's that easy to just push a button and it's
it's amazing. So they're very flexible. Okay. I would look into it for sure if that's something you're interested in. It is definitely flexible with other platforms. So if you guys have other platforms that you're using other than Gusto, maybe Zen Payroll or ADP or whatever the case is, you can look into it. First of all, you can call. That's one thing I'll say right now. About them, as far as like their customer service is amazing. A lot of these softwares are. It's insane how great the customer service is.
The support, it's got to be there, yeah. But Jason, you know what? Let's touch on this real quick as we're digging through. I'm thinking of just trying to think of what the audience and what the small business owners may have questions on. Like, oh, that's great, yeah, but it's only me. So when you started using Swept, when you started using T-Sheets, what was the trigger for you? Like, let's use T-Sheets, for example, like clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
Did you have 5 employees? Did you have 10 accounts? Like, let's talk about some metrics that made you say, I need a solution for this.
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty much out of the gate. We probably had about 5 employees by the time I implemented the T-Sheets platform.
Okay. Well, that's a great metric for people that are hearing or listening to reference that. You may be that person that is hiring your 3rd or 4th employee. Yeah. Start thinking about that. And again, I'm guilty as the person that waited for 3 years to do clock in, clock outs with a software. I was the sheet writing the name. What time did he say? Oh, he said he got out of there at 5.
Yeah, you don't have any headspace to do anything else because you're worried about that kind of stuff.
I was that guy for the first 3 years. So I said, don't be that guy.
Yeah, no, guys, he's right. Get ahead of it. Ahead of it. Dude, just look into it. It's so cheap to start. And that's what I would suggest, even if it's just you, one-man band. Get into the software, get comfortable with it. That way, when it's time to get that first employee or that 2nd, 3rd, 4th employee, you can literally just transition them into the system. It's streamlined. You're not stressing out about that. It's already done. Yeah. And it makes your life a little easier.
Nice. Well, I figured I wanted to bring that up because I think that's the one thing I want to touch on is what's relevant to the audience. And I think that's a good point is when do I do it? When do I take the plunge? When do I dedicate time? Because a lot of this is time commitment. So how about that? Like,
time or money, right?
For Swept, how long did it take you to implement Swept with your team? I know us, dude, it took maybe a week solid, but that was to upload clients.
Yeah.
Upload locations, but I mean, it's like, you could echo it to me, right? It doesn't take that much time. Like if you deal with the customer success teams and take the time to be onboarded, right? That's what I think is the biggest thing with software.
Yeah. And like you said, the customer success teams are just that. Like they want you to succeed. They drive you and make sure that you have everything you need to get it going. So again, Swept is great. I mean, they have, the chat right on the website there, or you can talk to somebody on the phone or do a Zoom call or a screen share. Same thing with T-sheets, same thing with our software for payroll. I mean, it's just, the support is there, and it's so valuable to have that, because like you said a second ago, it's time, or it's you're either you're spending a lot of time doing tasks that aren't income generating, like dealing with timesheets or managing payroll, filing forms, all that kind of thing. And yes, those are absolutely essential. You need to be doing it right from the get-go, or it's just going to be harder later on. But at the same time, hurrying up to get those systems in place so you don't have to think about that, and you can honestly think about being more creative with how you're going to get more clients, right? Because that's why we're here. We're here to build our portfolio. We're here to make money. We're here to be successful. So, that's a small price to pay for a lot more free time, in my opinion.
Yep. Exactly. We'll keep going down the road.
Okay. So the next one I'm super pumped about, I kind of talked about it a little bit, is Gusto. That's the payroll software. So we used QuickBooks for a minute. We had ADP, and nothing against any of those. And then we transitioned into Gusto. We tried Zen Payroll also for many reasons that, I won't get too deep into it, but just like, it was insane. So I was in Denver this past weekend, and we were, what was I say? We were walking downtown, and I look up and I see a Gusto logo on a building. I guess they have like headquarters there.
Oh, okay.
And I just got super excited. I was like, oh, that's so cool that they're here. I had no idea, right? Yeah. And the person I was with was like, I've never seen anybody get that excited about payroll. About
their payroll company.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
oh God.
It's just.
So I'm assuming it's a cloud-based software, right?
Yeah, it's a cloud-based software. And the really neat thing about Gusto is, like I said, not only does it integrate with what we do for T-sheets, but it also allows us to, it files forms for us. When you're ready, we get our workers' comp through them because it's competitive. Okay. We can do benefits there as well. So there's all kinds of different values that it brings. And again, the price is like super inexpensive. I mean, it's like, maybe I can't even tell you right now how much it costs, but I think it's like maybe $10 a month per person. There's a base rate of like $45. So, yes, over time it'll get better, but in my opinion, we're saving a salary of like I'm saving, having somebody else do that for me. Right.
Yeah. Correct.
So that's paying labor right there. You don't need you're wasting money on. And that's another thing too. It's like, yeah, exactly. You don't have a whole lot of money to do anything, and you're worried about spending money in the wrong places. I hear a lot of the groups. I love those groups online for the commercial cleaning. I think they're a great asset for everybody that's taken part. But a lot of things, times I see things like, when should I get? I'm going to get my office, right now. And in my opinion, in this day and age, I don't think you need an office until you're doing maybe close to $1 million, and we're not even there yet. Okay. So we don't have an office. So I think that being wise with your expenditures is a huge deal. And if you can recognize what you really need and what isn't really necessary, yes, it's cool to have an office. I mean, we have a storage spot for our equipment. That's it, and we have we have a fleet vehicle. We have a couple fleet vehicles, and that's all we really need right now, and that allows us to really take chances, take risks, and try new things with like technology and all that kind of stuff. We have that extra cash laying around. And so we just keep pushing. So Gusto's a great one. Let's see what else. Our finance software is amazing. It's called Xero, Xero. I've got an amazing bookkeeper that really got me hooked into it. And everything is pretty much automatic when it comes to recoiling books, things like that. Mm-hmm. I've got an operations assistant on that helps run things. And he's easily able to go in there and invoice and manage all that kind of thing and draw up reports and stuff like that. So, anything with sales forecasting, all kinds of stuff like that. So, it's been a huge, like I said, we were with QuickBooks, and I've heard they've gotten a lot better, but they're just not that great as far as I'm concerned compared to this software. So they're all about like making it better for you and all that kind of thing. So I'm giving my honest opinion. Hopefully it's not, hurting anybody's feelings, but that's just our experience. And we put in the time and the money and the effort to try to figure that out. So these are what's worked for us. So that finance software is really good. And that's $30 a month, and it's brought so much value and saved so much time for us. So
nice.
Yeah, it's been nice.
And let's talk about, so because I totally forgot to touch on this in the beginning, but Jason, give people a snapshot of the size of your company from employee standpoint, revenue standpoint, accounts. What is the profile of NAE?
So right now we're close to 20 people right now on staff on payroll, whether it's contractors or staff. And then there's also like ancillary. We've got, bookkeeper, like I mentioned, got a CPA. We contract out some of our admin work. I've got people on Upwork that are running SEO campaigns that I found. That's another thing I would suggest that you guys check into is Upwork.com. There's a lot of great talent out there that works for very little money.
They need work. They need work right now.
They need work, and a lot of people say, well, you're kind of like you're taking advantage of like whatever lower class citizens, and it's like, no, you don't understand. It's the arbitrage of what that looks like from like a payroll perspective. So yeah, maybe because it's $8 or $6 an hour from us to them, that's a teacher's salary, so an hour, stuff like that. So it's I mean, I've done graphic design there. I've done SEO. I've got a message board a mile long of just different random projects that I've jumped on and said, hey, I need this real quick, boom, and it's done. Like, we did the disinfecting video, and I know how important it is, like from a metrics perspective, how important it is to have like the right thumbnail for any video you put up on YouTube. Oh
my God. Yeah. I didn't know how that was rocket science. Yeah.
No, yeah. You look at it, it's like charts and graphs and you're like, what is going on? So I found a guy online and he actually went by the thumb god, right? Like, oh my God. That's all he did. And the reviews were amazing. The artwork was amazing. And he did an amazing job on ours. I mean, we got on that video, we only have one video on our channel. That we want to do more. We're talking about doing some more. We've got that in the works, but we've got around 60,000 views on that video. Wow. And I bet you part of that has to do with just like the eye catchiness of the thumbnail. Like he was like, no, the green color is what you want. I was like, it looks weird. He's like, no. The green, the red, like you want to have that. That's the most clicked color. The fonts that he had, he explained to me why. I'm just like, geez, man, this is awesome. So
see, and I got to tell you, my video guy is going to probably snap at me because he said the same kind of stuff. And I was like, no. We're not doing it that looks too like,
yeah.
Look at proof is in the pudding right there.
It's in the numbers, right? It's in the numbers. So, and I was like, you know what, man, go for it. Do your thing. Like you're the expert here. So, but that's a great platform. I know I kind of veered off of what I was talking about.
Yeah. So 20 employees.
20 employees. We've been here. Like I said, we've been here almost 7 years. Since 2013 is when I started. We do about 360 a year in revenue. And it's crazy. We do all kinds of anything you can think of except for like restaurants. We do just a lot of like bigger buildings is what we're going for. We have a lot of like smaller companies as well that we work with. We service everybody. We just try to bring value as much as possible to the community and provide like good opportunities for our people. So, anything and everything under the sun, we do. So
nice. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, as you guys can see, the reason why I brought Jason on here is he's got a lot of knowledge on how to fast track your company with efficiencies using technology, right? Again, Joe, you talk to Joe all the time, probably from my team.
Oh, I was going to mention, I want to give him a shout out.
Where he's like, Rick, normally the route users we talk to, I talked to him a little bit. He's like, Jason, he's like, I'm talking to Jason every month. He's like, this guy, he's hungry to know about this. He wants integrations on this. And
integrations.
Talk about that.
No. So and I don't want to get ahead of it, but yeah, Joe's been great. I mean, the fact that he, and I know it's mutually beneficial, we're going back and forth about leveraging those integrations with Route. And, he's basically helped us get to a point where we create a client in Route and it automatically creates a client in our finance software. It creates tasks for managers in our operations software. We use Asana, and it just basically like simplifies that process. Like it eliminates the time it takes, like using Zapier and things like that.
Yeah.
And if you guys weren't open to the integrations, then that wouldn't have been possible. So I appreciate it.
Jason, I laugh because we're going through some changes internally for the Rozalado side of the business. Mm-hmm. That again, he's we're going to add on Salesforce. He's going to do the integrations for all that. So again, everything always helps each other, right? Like making changes and improvements on Route helps Rozalado, helps the users of the Route community.
100%.
But then I'm like, wait a minute, Joe. I'm like, he's got what going on? He's like, Rick, you're going to get a little jealous, but I think his system is a little more automated than yours. I'm like, what the crap? I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, Rick, it worked. It happened. Like Zapier it works well with the stuff that he's using. So I was like, all right, well, when we hit the refresh button, because we're going to dive into, because again, you're doing it from the beginning, which is key here. Doing it after the fact that you have hundreds of employees, the buy-in is tough. We tried Monday, nobody bought in. You've got to have the buy-in at a small size. You dictate that. So kudos to you. That's where, again, I hope this episode generates a lot of buzz and interest in. I'm going to share all your information too, Jason. People might want to talk to you too, because
I appreciate it. I'd be happy to.
It's the question from cleaning business owners, like in our Facebook groups, is always, like we said, I don't have time. I don't have those resources. I'm not looking at it.
And it's intimidating too.
It's overwhelming if you don't have the right support. And it's programs like this that we want to talk on and give examples. You just literally went from the beginning to end, and we could still continue, right?
Yep.
Like let's touch a little bit more on integration, where people may not know what integrations means.
Yeah.
Well, you said it. You enter the client once en route, it automatically populates in these other solutions.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, why should a cleaning business owner want that?
Because at least at our core, what we strive to do is provide an exceptional experience for like our clients and our team. Like we strive to be the best janitorial company in the eyes of our clients, our customers, and of our employees. That's our mission. And in order to do that, I believe that you need to leverage the resources that allow for that. If somebody's running around with their head cut off trying to do mundane tasks, when there's a simple solution for that, which allows them to feel like they can bring more value in other ways, then that's a win-win for everybody. And when you're organized in that way, nothing gets forgotten about. So, whether it's invoicing or it's payroll, a big one here that I found interviewing people that have worked for different bigger companies, maybe our competitors here in town, is that they still struggle with payroll and timesheets. And these people are having to constantly follow up with their bosses about not being paid.
That's a bad experience, right? And then you said invoicing, damn, that's another one. Like we just had this conversation internally because we finally found the system that we needed for, invoicing, where if you're doing hundreds or thousands of invoices a month and you don't have a streamlined system, you're going to forget. You don't want to be that company, because I was that company in the beginning, invoicing clients 6 months after I did a job. I was like, oh, hey, by the way, forgot to send this invoice. You've got these corporate companies. If you do that to a corporation, they're not paying you. Like it's void. That's on you for being a bad, doing best or worst practice. And not
right. 100%.
But that's efficiencies, right? I mean, again, if people are listening and hearing and watching, I hope you get the sense of, you think of, if I were listening, I'd be like, oh, Jason's for sure $1 million company. He's got this, he's got that. You said you're 360,000 revenue. Mm-hmm. I know $1 million in revenue companies that are not using solutions to make it. You sound like a bigger company. It feels like you're a bigger company because of the way you operate. But look at that. If I were an outside client looking in and just looking at your credentials and understanding how you operate,
right?
I don't care if you're smaller than the bigger guys, because you can operate just as efficient as they can,
if not better. And it's not anything on me. It's not my personal. I just realized, like you mentioned a second ago, like no one is capable of keeping everything in their heads, no matter how much they think they can or they try to. It's just not possible. So I'm addicted. I'm passionate about this stuff.
So am I too.
It's great. And that's why I love talking to you, because I know you are. I see the value you guys are bringing. I mean, we've been using Route. Thank God we got on the Route right before we started blowing up, because it would have been just a lot more challenging with the other service we were using. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, you get it, right? So anytime you can leverage technology, anytime, you do it yourself a favor and try, because you can't really lose out. It's not, it's not going to hurt, it's not going to hurt.
And it's almost like, I mean, you've got to do it yourself first. It's almost like, if you know it's going to work, the buy-in is there from everybody else. Mm-hmm. And,
you're confident about it, right?
Yeah. And I'll get people that will say, well, it feels like I have to have somebody solely responsible for this. Right. I would say you don't, but if you did, that same person could probably be responsible for all of your technology, right? Like
Yep.
we're getting to the point where, imagine this, you hire a cleaning company, on their C-level team or their operations team, they have somebody whose name title is innovation manager, director of innovation. Like that shows that I would raise an eyebrow, be like, wait, you're a cleaning company and you have an innovation.
Yeah. And that's maybe something
like,
people laugh at too. Yeah.
It's like, wait, no, here's why. Like you talked Asana, Zero, like the names you're using,
T-sheets,
T-sheets, Route, Swept, like these are a lot of solutions where yes, one person could be hired for that. But again, it comes within reason. Can you afford it? Make room for it. You said budget. Like again, you're a 300. It's amazing to me. That's why I love this story, because people would think you were larger and people would think you only use technology if you have this amount of revenue. No, that is not the case here.
Right. Yeah, no, it's not. And it may seem overwhelming if you try to wait until you're a certain size. You're going to try to do everything at once. It's going to be overwhelming. You're not going to be able to. It's going to be hard to manage, and especially what you just said about hiring somebody. Let's think about this for a minute. So you're spending minimum 30, like a full-time person it would take to do all this stuff manually, probably 35, 45K a year, at least around here. All those I just named off to you are probably, I don't know, an eighth of the cost of that, like maybe less than that. I'm probably off on that. It's probably less than that, right? Maybe a total of like $500 a month in total between Swept, Route, Zero, Gusto, T-sheets, Asana, maybe less than that. So think about that, right? That's like 1 week of pay that you're, it just makes sense. It just makes logical.
And then think about it too, Jason, like people talk about, well, how, millennials don't find this industry that sexy. You bring somebody in that just graduated college and told them to manage these type of software solutions.
Yeah.
They'll eat it up. This is what they'll be okay with that, because it's,
and the younger generation in general, like they understand it. Like I hired a gentleman fresh out of, he's an MBA. He just graduated probably in the last year. And he's been alongside me creating SOPs on how to onboard to these different softwares and like creating a whole portfolio of like literally. So when he moves on and starts doing his something else potentially, if I can't keep him, because I love the guy. But basically the way it's set up now is like I can literally hire somebody on and say, listen, I need you to go through this process and sign up and all these things. Here's how it's done. And then, we'll go through it together, or we'll have someone else go through it with you. And once you feel comfortable, we can move on. Right.
Yeah. But you got it in place though. Like that's the point.
Yeah. It's build the systems, man. One thing that really got me, have you read E-Myth by Michael Gerber?
No.
Okay. So basically his whole idea is like the E-Myth, the entrepreneurial myth, right? It's basically saying that like, you can do it all and you can't. Like it's systems. You need to really try to work at getting better at systems. So whatever that looks like for you and your business, he uses McDonald's, for example, for example. So, and he's talking about how you can literally put a monkey on a line and and get them to make burgers and serve food and relatively within a day, right?
Because so he's got a system.
And then he used this small town shop where it was like a pie shop, and this woman was like, no one can make it like me. He was like, let's talk about that, right? Let's think about this.
That's
like, how do we systematize this so when this comes out the other end, you feel like that's a pie that you made, right? So I want to try to convey the excitement and the passion I have for creating the value for our clients and for our team in the operations side, just so it's there automatically, right? Everything, right? So
it's how can it be plug and play? I mean, shit, you just hit it on the board. I can go on and on here, but I don't want to. Again, guys.
Yeah, how can I provide value? Like, whatever. Ask whatever.
This was an exciting episode because it went back to just again the storytelling, and you guys are we're lucky that we had you on, Jason, because your story again, it just I get goosebumps, right? Because the future is digital, the future is technology, but don't forget the human touch, which we're not talking about replacing human touch and culture and an ecosystem and a passion that you need to drive with your frontline technicians, because technology won't replace good culture, and they're not going to just work for you, because again, I'm talking about frontline technicians because they are everything for us as business owners.
Everything. I agree 100%.
But they've got to buy in and know that you're choosing these solutions to make their life easier and to make the company grow. If the company's growing, their life's easier. They got job security. They've got a way to grow within the company and make more money. Everybody's happy, So Jason,
and make them feel that. Yeah, for sure.
Any last words you have for us? I think you throwing that book in too. I'm going to make sure I drop that book and that name. Say that again, just so we can drop that in the.
The E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Okay.
I would suggest that anybody on their own, 100% read that one. I think it'll bring a lot of value to you guys. I appreciate, I guess I'll just end my part by saying I appreciate everything you're doing. I see how active you are in the forums. I see how active you are here. I think you're bringing a lot of value, and you're really bringing to light just the way that this industry is just underserved in so many ways. And how we can bring that back and really provide that extra value and grow our businesses and all be successful. This is a huge pie. It's a $62 billion a year industry. Let's get in there. Let's make some money. Let's have some fun, right?
Yes. There you go. I don't even have to end or say anything. That was a great ending right there, my man. Well, guys, thank you again, Jason. Cheers.
Cheers.
I appreciate the time on a Monday night.
My pleasure. I'm glad we could get together.
Everybody, until the next show, again, please subscribe to the Route YouTube channel and the Cleaning and Cocktails podcast episodes. A lot more to come. Again, this is Jason Behn from NAE Cleaning Solutions in Austin, Texas. Peace out.